Here we have the 30-minute price chart for Nvidia Corporation, stock ticker NVDA. Here we can see that there's been some buying activity in Nvidia during the most recent trading periods, and we are starting to come back into fairly significant resistance levels. We can almost define let's call this it's just above 128, roughly 128.10, 128.15, as a bit of a triple top at this point. And this does suggest that we could be in for some fireworks here into the end of the week. And I did not mean I did not intend that pun. Tomorrow's the 4th of July, um, but there are reasons that I say this. And we do need to mention the fact that tomorrow is the 4th of July because trading will be closed tomorrow. That does it really does affect liquidity in the market, and that liquidity just means the amount of money that's currently trading in the market. When there's a major holiday like this, a lot of people pull their money out. Um, at least shorter term positions anyway. A lot of people pull their money out of those positions, and it really just means that there's less money in the market. And the overall effect that can have is that it increases volatility. It does matter. It is a significant factor that people have to consider. Because it is going to, price moves can become more erratic. They can become larger than normal. And it can even affect mega cap stocks like Nvidia. So, to close this week, we have to remember that there is no trading tomorrow. And then when we do come back on Friday, there's the release of the non-farm payrolls report. That might sound like it's not significant, but it's the monthly jobs number. And it is the most significant piece of economic data that gets released. It gets released at the end of every month. And it is important because it kind of sets the trading tone for the day at the very minimum. Sometimes it leads to very volatile reactions in the market. It shows the amount of jobs that have been created during the prior month. I know it sounds like it's not very tech related because it's got the word farm in it, but that's not the case. It's non-farm, so it means jobs outside of agriculture. And it is a national number, and it does move the market more than any other piece of economic data. Normally, I wouldn't focus on things like that. Some people try to focus on economic data. I try not to because I think most of it really doesn't matter very much. Um, More recently, inflation numbers have been important, but that's really just because inflation has just been completely out of control during the during the oh wow Freudian slip during the Biden administration. Sorry, Obama part two. But inflation has really been out of control during these last few years. So for that reason, inflation numbers have been a bit more important. But if you're looking at the longer term history of the market, the non-farm payrolls number does have a dramatic effect on share prices throughout the market. So this would be the entire S&P 500, the entire Nasdaq. It would be expected to influence prices and to have generally set the trading tone for the day on Friday. So what we have here, you have to keep these two things in mind. Number one, we have the holiday trading period, which removes liquidity from the market and increases volatility on its own. And then directly when we come back, it's before the market open. That non-farm payrolls number gets released. It's at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, and then the market's open at 9:30. So it's right before the market opens. So the market is really going to start trading off of that information more than anything else. I mean, believe it or not, Nvidia specific news is going to be less important, at least for the beginning of the trading session. So that alone is probably going to determine whether or not this triple top breaks here. We are seeing a bit of an upside here, and a bit of an upward move, and we're really kind of seeing a sideways trading range that's developing here. I think this will wind up being significant because the break of this range is probably going to determine trend direction, maybe for the rest of this month. It's quite possible. And what we're really seeing here is a bit of a period of consolidation. As you can see, the share price itself is really kind of trading right within the moving average cluster. So this looks very consolidative to me. Um, and when you see things like that, it really does suggest that you're about to see another trending move in one direction or the other. A sideways trading range on its own doesn't give you the direction. You need to wait and see. You need to wait for a break above or below. that trading range, and then that's where you get your direction. So both are equally possible. Although at the moment, it does look like we're pressuring the top side, and we have broken above the exponential moving average cluster. So overall, I would say the balance of the evidence does favor a topside break, but you're going to have to wait for this to happen because it's not going to be happening tomorrow. And then when we come back before the market opens, before we start officially trading, you're going to have to be dealing with this non-farm payrolls number. That's mostly going to affect the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq, the broader index numbers. And at this point, now that Nvidia has risen so much in value, Nvidia is a major component of those index numbers. So, mark my words here. This, for at least for the rest of this week, I think that Nvidia is going to be influenced by non-Nvidia type of news. I think that this is going to be influenced more like broader economic trends, and I don't normally say that. And normally, when people try to like distract on this YouTube platform, mostly when people start to talk about economic numbers, they're really just trying to come up with something to talk about. Most of the time, I don't think it makes any difference at all. Just focus on what the company is doing for the most part. But I do think it's important in this situation because we're trading near a major top, and we have to determine whether or not this is going to be the longer term top. I mean, are we going to start to drift lower, or are we going to break out of this sideways trading range, test this resistance level, and then make new highs? So that's really the question right now. The market's not able to trade tomorrow. So, the market is kind of handcuffed here. You don't really have the option to trade tomorrow. So, at least not in active markets, not in open markets. So, we have to wait until Friday. And then we've got this red herring that's going to be released and is probably going to set the tone for the entire Friday trading period. So, if we were farther away from the top of this trading range, I might say it doesn't matter one direction or the other. But if it's a number that negatively influenced the market, you could absolutely see a bit of a resistance failure here. And then if that occurs, now you've got a triple top condition that's going to be a more formidable resistance level, and it's going to be more difficult to break through that level. So there are factors here that need to be watched. In terms of how this stock is actually going to be traded here. We do have evidence probably in both directions. I would say more of the evidence favors the top side as things currently stand. But I also believe that this stock is going to be influenced by non-company related standards, news events into the end of this week. So there are some external factors that have to be taken into consideration here. So this is the current market analysis for Nvidia Corporation, stock ticker NVDA.